Do you feel like this thing, your cell phone, is controlling your life? Unfortunately, it is. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Digital minimalism. You know, more and more people are coming forward saying that they feel like their cell phone is controlling them. You know, it's driving them crazy, mentally, emotionally, just making you nuts at the end of the day. So if you feel like this, stay with me, because this video, we're going to address some ways that you can help minimize that and take your life back. Hey everybody, my name is David Gerbach, Performance Mindset Coaching. I'm a life coach and a speaker, and I focus on ideas that are going to help you expand your life and take it to the next level. Here on my YouTube channel, I upload 3 brand new videos a week. Each one is designed with a powerful idea and an action that you can take to expand your life and reach your full potential. If you find value in this video, please like and subscribe so you can get more good content, and don't forget about the bell so it notifies you every time I put a new video up. Now, let's get back to this thing called digital minimalism. You know, the important thing to understand about digital minimalism is that it's never going away. We are never going back to what it was 10 or 20 years ago before we had cell phones and so much computer stuff. And it's not even the computer stuff that's that big, right? It's the cell phone. It's this thing right here. You know, this thing, in my own experience, maybe this resonates with you, but you're just constantly going in and out, closing out the apps, scrolling through. The scrolling makes you feel dizzy sometimes. It does for me. You're always checking it. You're like checking it. What, 3, 4, 5, 6, 28 times an hour, you know? And it just makes you feel like you're addicted to something. It takes away your freedom. So with the whole digital thing, the problem with it is it's like sugar, you know? It changes your taste. It changes your flavor in your taste buds, and you don't realize that that's going on, but it's actually changing you, and it's making everything else less sweet. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about some ideas of how you can minimize that, because like I said, this thing, cell phones and technology, it's never going away. But what we need to do is to add some structure to it, you know, how we use it. It can be a great tool for leveraging business and things like that, but we need to structure it in a way that it doesn't take over our lives. So organization, structure, and minimizing the use of the cell phone is going to be the main components of this video. So one thing that I teach my clients in my coaching practice is to just minimize the cell phone just the first hour of the day, right? Just the first hour from the time you wake up and through that first hour of the day, that you don't touch the cell phone, don't look at the cell phone, that you engage in any other activity that's either writing, exercise, conversation with a family member. Any of those things are fine. Part of the problem of why it makes you feel so crazy in the first place is the fact that the switching back and forth is not something that is good for our brain. So what happens is we constantly are conditioned for this, like switching. Multitasking is the enemy of a successful life. You can find more of this in this book right here, The Organized Mind by Daniel Levitin. This is a great book. I'm going to link this down below so you can check it out. I read this book, been through it several times, new ideas, new things that you can use in your life just keep popping up. But what he explains is the attentional system is designed for one specific purpose. That's how we were designed, just through evolution and how we've evolved over the years. All the digital is such a strain on the attentional filter because it's not designed to continuously switch back and forth for 8, 10 hours a day, you know, whatever we're awake for, or however long you're engaged in activity. All this switching is igniting this dopamine effect in our brain, right? And this dopamine effect is therefore controlling us even more because we feel like we keep needing to go back to it. So let's talk about the habits of highly successful people and how we want to get away from all this digital technology that's in our face all the time. First is we want to create more mental clarity in our lives. How do we do that? Putting the cell phone down and getting into the practice of writing is a great way to minimize the digital in your life. Pen and paper. You don't have to be a writer to get the full benefits of writing. Writing is a neuroassociative process between the brain and the hand, and it is a great exercise for concentration and focus. We want to create better decision making in our lives. So what happens is when we develop that mental clarity, what we do is we become better at making decisions. See, we have to remember in life that consistency is the key to long-term success. The more consistent you are in your actions, the better and more successful your life is going to become. See, when we get the digital out of our lives, we develop a slower way of living. And this slower way of living creates more relaxation, more focus, more concentration. And then we get into better conversations with family and friends. We develop that. The benefits of slower living are reaching your full potential. Part of this comes down to what I call the internal versus the external perspective, right? What the digital technology teaches us, and the cell phone in particular, is we're always looking for something on the outside. We're looking for the next app. We're looking for the next social media post. We're looking for the next thing that's going to give us that little dopamine hit that keeps us happy and makes us feel good. And that's a bad way to condition yourself, because just like a drug addict, you need to come back and you need to check that post, you need to check that app, and you need to get that dopamine hit so that you can feel good. And then after a while, once you get conditioned for that, that's the only way you can feel good. And once that happens, then you're just tied into it more and more, and it's harder and harder to get out of it. So what we need to do is bring it back to an internal focus, right? Exercise. When we exercise, we have an internal focus because we're focused on what's going on in our body. We're focused on controlling our own thinking. When we write, when we put the pen on paper, that's an internal focus because we're taking what's in our mind and we're putting it down on paper. So a couple of the things that I recommend are, one, in the Unbeatable Mind Coaching, our Unbeatable Mind Coaching program, we teach something called the W.I.R.M process. W-I-R-M. It means to witness, interdict, redirect, and maintain. Let me give you an example of how you can use this to minimize digitally, right? So we teach it as a thought process. You're watching your thoughts from the outside. You're observing yourself from an outer point of view. This takes a little bit of time to cultivate, but you'll find it very useful. So as you witness your thoughts, you then can interdict them, you can redirect them to something healthy and positive, and then you can maintain that thought process. So digitally, you want to watch yourself, you want to bring awareness to how much you're actually looking at your phone. Is it a problem for you? Is it making you feel like you're crazy? Witness that, see that. Then you can start to interdict, you can start to interrupt the process. Then you can redirect. So every time you pull out that cell phone and you go to look at something, if you don't want to look at it, you can simply say, okay, let me go back to my writing. Let me go back to my activity that I was doing before. And then you can maintain that process. This is going to bring attention and awareness to how much you're actually using that cell phone and what you can do to minimize the habit of just continually pulling that thing out, because that's what really drives you crazy. Another practice that we use that I continuously teach is just writing. Just writing down your thoughts, writing down what's going on in your mind. It helps mental clarity. It helps better decision making. Instead of a 30-day digital fast, which I think for me, for anybody, is very difficult to do at this point because we've been hooked into the cell phone so badly. But what I teach is to just go the first hour of the day, the first waking hour that you're awake. Do not look at the cell phone. That is a great start. And if you can just cultivate that practice in your life, that's going to help you tremendously with getting more and more control over this digital minimalism. All of these things that I've talked about in this video, the W.I.R.M process, W-I-R-M, witness, interdict, redirect, and maintain. Keeping the cell phone out of your hands the first hour of the day. All of these things are tremendously useful in mental clarity, decision making, and just experiencing that optimal state of flow and performance, because that's where we want to live every day. We want to live in that optimal state of flow where we feel like we're just aligned, completely aligned, and in the state that we want to be in, happy, feeling free, feeling in control of our thoughts. That's what the digital, the whole digital life takes away from us. We feel like we're tied to it. It starts to feel like an addiction. And anytime you feel like you're addicted to something, that's a loss of a sense of freedom. Hey everybody, I hope you found value in this video. I hope you found value in the content. This whole digital epidemic that we're going through is so much more serious than we think because it creeps up on you slowly. And what happens is it turns you into an impatient, tense, unrelaxed person, which is not what anybody wants to be. That's no way to enter your peak state of performance and flow, the place that you want to live in your life. So please like and subscribe if you find value in this video. If you need more information, if you need to get a hold of me, you can reach me through davidgerbach.com. If you want shorter, more focused videos, if you're in a time crunch, you can find me on TikTok, which is @dbach73. I want to see you reach your full potential. So remember, break the mold, redefine yourself, and live your best life ever.